best, worst
content.
Who, what, it must be. Who, what, it must be. Divine. It's spiritual warfare out here. It's spiritual warfare out here. That's why we must stay protected and equipped with these self-healing affirmations with a twist. Best, worst content? Oh yeah, that's the brand. That's the foundation to this healing journey. That not great, not good enough, but you fuck with it content. I am not my diagnosis. I am not what I've been through. You can beat me verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally, but you can't destroy me. I rise up, weathering storms no matter what. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your self-healing affirmations with a twist. I'll be your host, and I go by Divine DJ. Let me go over the schedule for anybody that might be new. Affirmations will be posted at the beginning, middle, and end of the week, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Each week we'll have a theme to give more context to the affirmation. The twist will be a poetic expression. Those poems will be posted at random, so they're not just subject to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And be advised, this content is for a mature audience. Our current theme is mental health, and our affirmation for today is stigma and labels. Before we go any further with that, I think this is a good time to explain best, worst content. So I know there are plenty of people out there that have experienced that, giving your best, doing your best, and it's still seen as not enough, right? And that's where that came from. Like, when I originally came up with that slogan, or like just saying that, best, worst, is when I was learning to do tattooing, and it seemed like even when I first got my like equipment and everything, you had people like, yeah, let me get, why don't you do me a tattoo? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't even know what I'm doing, but in my mind, I'm an artist, right? Now, to tattoo, that would be just a different technique of doing art, but I am an artist. So I would always think and look at it like, okay, if they want it, I'm gonna have to give them the best. I'm gonna have to do my best. And the worst part comes from not enough experience at something, right? Maybe you're not good at something, but you're willing to give it. It's like giving your all. It's giving your best at something you may not be good at. And when we say not great, not good enough, but you fuck with it, you really got to think about that. People will clown you all day. They will hate on you all day. Oh, your stuff is whack, or you're this, you're that. And yet they still watching. They still listening. You know what I'm saying? They still lurking. So that's where that breeds. That's where that grows from. And honestly, it's what we should use to kind of like incorporate the positivity we give back to ourselves, because I do my best. And just because I may learn at a slower rate or at a different level than somebody else, it doesn't make me stupid. Just because, you know, I may not be as skilled, or it may take me a little longer, you know, like, it's just like we're going into this affirmation today, which is the stigma and the labels. Like, people are way too judgmental, right? Just judging you on foolishness. Oh, you're not good enough in a relationship. You get compared. They got to compare you to somebody else. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. It don't matter what you do. You can cook, clean, you know, be faithful. You can do whatever, and it's still not enough. But, you know, they still be in the background. Like, well, what's this person doing? And they can be somewhere else and still looking back. So, you know, that's for another subject, another topic. Let's go ahead and get into that. So, like I said, today's affirmation is going to be stigma and labels. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out those previous affirmations. We're spreading hope around these parts for those currently or previously suffering or coming out of abusive situations. Unity is needed now more than ever with all that's going on in the world, you know, plus, you know, your own world, mentally taxing and exhausting. So I want to make sure we're touching bases. So I want to touch back on different forms of abuse, because I feel like I'm just discovering that you can be subject to abuse on so many levels by so many different people. For example, on the last episode, we talked about realization. Again, the theme of the week is mental health. So realization comes with a label, right? that's tagged with a whole lot of stigmas. I feel this form of abuse can be indirect and direct. Let's use, for example, going to your primary care doctor or the ER. I feel like as soon as they get wind that you're diagnosed with a mental health problem or have a mental illness, you end up going down a rabbit hole. The appointment goes in a direction you never intended it to go in. Then your symptoms get grouped in, and then somehow it turns into maybe you don't have a problem and it's just, depression, or it's just anxiety or heartburn, right? That's the one right there. Not saying your mental health can't impact your physical, but medical practice these days weaponize that. Your problems get minimized or they go unnoticed. That's my perspective on an indirect way your diagnosis can be targeted for abuse. A more direct approach is seeking an accommodation in the workplace. The way certain management will scrutinize you for seeking an accommodation that's mental health related is ridiculous. They poke and probe even after you've provided proof from your doctors. It's as if now the doctor has to prove what they said was true. They treat you different. Confidential information seems to float around. It's already hard enough dealing with your problems. You don't need people mocking you for it. It's the vulnerability part that gets attacked from those around you. What we say to ourselves is important. How we see ourselves. Kindness and love starts with ourselves, right? How we nurture ourselves should be mirrored by others, accepting nothing less. See yourself with a mental illness not as the mental illness. Own being different. So you talk to yourself, or you need a little quiet time so you can calm your anxiety. Don't let toxic abusers convince you that you're nothing, you're less than, that you can't get better. At least you were confident enough to address a problem and try and work on it. These same negative naysayers wouldn't have the courage to acknowledge and take the steps to self-improvement. Don't stay stuck with people who choose to stay stuck. No matter how hard, how lonely you feel, don't give up. Don't let others cause you to backtrack. If there's no forward movement, walk alone then. I believe and have faith that when it is time, the right support system will come to you. So remember, embrace being the best version of you. And in order to embrace the best version of you, you gotta actually work on it. You have to be willing to unpack your own, how do you wanna say it? You gotta be willing to unpack your own demons, man, and check them. So you can make the improvements. There's nothing wrong with change, because if you don't change, then you stay what? You stay stuck. You're gonna be still stuck in that same position, that same mindset, and you're never going to develop. You're not gonna go anywhere. And there are people literally out here that want you to stay stuck with them. You'll be in your 40s, still stuck in the same place you were at 15, 16, 17, still in the streets, still worried about turning up, drinking and smoking. That shit is old, man. Like, the older you get, you gotta have different goals and different things that you need. I mean, we're all in different places and different timelines in this world, but man, after a while, that shit get old. So all I'm saying is, man, stay true to you, stay walking in your truth, aim for the truth, because lying is too much of a job and you got to keep up with that. So all these fake personas and stuff is going to come down, it's going to come crashing down one way or another. One love is for you, and we'll check back in soon. Peace.